Right, back again, gents. As I see, I've put the decals on. Went down beautifully. I did 2 coats of gloss on the sides and obviously the star decals on the front and the rear. Left it to cure overnight. Then I started with the decals from the kit itself. No problems at all. Mind you, I did use a lot of microset and microsol just to be on the safe side, and as you can see, let's zoom in. They've gone down really well. Quite happy with those. One's on the turret. They came like that. I thought, well, I'll use those ones. I quite like that. On the front, I've got them just under the a bit of wood that I've added now. And on the rear, I added the decals before I added the spare track links, which are there. And then on the main side, we've got the first in Bastogne and all the other bits and pieces written on it. Went down really well. It's quite shiny, obviously, but yeah, I'm really pleased with those. So I can't complain with them at all. So that's what I've been doing that last day or so. Also, I've been attempting to make a base for this tank, and I'm trying something slightly different. I'm going to try and make a circular one. Let's have a zoom back out. Oh god, this camera. It's the camera, it's me. Right, so we've got to make I'm making a lift it up a bit. See where we are. There we go. That's better. Yeah, I've got a circular. All I've done here, I bought a styrene sheet, but cut it obviously. This is all just sellotape to glued in place. I'm holding it with elastic bands at the moment, and then when I put the sculptor mould on, I'll be able to bring it in together again. It'll sort of, I'm not coming right up to this height. I'll be coming about maybe half a centimetre down from that height. I think that's what I'll be going for, that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm going to put this. I've got this bit of go from AliExpress. I'm going to use this as part of the diorama. It's been primed. It was primed in a grey primer as well, so that's going to be sitting on the diorama somewhere. So let's just move that out the way and drop that back down. Yeah, so I'm going to have to trim a bit off and tidy it up. This is just tape on the outside, that'll all clean off. I don't know, I can't remember if I showed you the figures. I really can't remember. I probably did, but I'm not 100% sure. So these are the figures that are going to go onto the build, which are really nice. We've got these ones, this one, and this one are from the Mini Art US Tankers Europe, and the 4 at the back, let me just turn them around. 3 of them came with the little dio box, the little, you know, the resin barn door type thing, so that's what they came with that. So we've got those 3. First 3 came with that, and the last one, the one on the radio, is a separate one. So there's what's going on. It's obviously a tank crew and the tank, and then the few of the GIs just sort of meandering around on the front. I'm quite happy with those. They went together really nicely, hardly any filler at all. So they've been primed as well, so they're all ready to paint when I get round to painting them. So what we're going to do next is we're going to start doing the pin wash. What the hell is that on there? Get a pair of tweezers. Get a pair of these on here. And we're going to make a start. A little slurp of tea. Sorry, it's just my daughter, just my youngest daughter. Right, so what I've done is I've made a wash using Aptalong Sepia 002, and I've obviously pre-mixed some in my usual jars. And we have just a little bit of thinners in there, and we have 2 brushes one to clean and one to apply. So let us start. I think I'll take the turret off for now and keep that separate over there, and we can make a start on this. So I'll just give it a shake again. Let me zoom in just a touch, I think. There we go. Right, so a lot of people do the opposite way around, do the complete sludge wash. I've never tried it, so I can't knock it, but I prefer this way. So I'll just pick up some highlights like the weld seams. I always make my washes very, very thin and easy to clean up, and maybe it takes a bit longer to apply it, because you may have to go back in again, but generally speaking I prefer it this way. Like I say, everybody has their own methods to do things. We can't knock it. So I've still got the satin coat down off the when I did the painting. That's still down on the surface to help. So I'm just going to go around picking, picking details out. Maybe around this, presumably it's like a vent, I presume. Just go around. I try and be as neat as possible so there's less clean up, but obviously sometimes you can't. So, but like I said, the base oil paint, so you can go in probably tomorrow and clean them as well. That's not a problem. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll carry on doing a pin wash and get into all the shadow areas. I prefer using I don't like a black wash on a green. I think it's too stark. Although this sepia seems to work really, really nicely. Take me a bit to do all this. I like to take my time doing all these sort of things. I think it shows to when you get towards the end of the build, when you've seen what you've done and how you've applied it. So what I'll do is I'll carry on off camera, and when it's done we'll get back to you and we'll go to the next step. So I'll see you very soon. Right, we're back after doing the pin wash. It's going quite well, as you can see. Well, let's just zoom in a little touch and we can see a bit better then, can't we? Let's just move these out of the way. Where are we at here? As you can see, it's gone down quite well. Move this out up there. I don't want to damage those. Yeah, it's come out quite well. Quite pleased. I used that sepia oil wash. Well, more yeah, up to long sepia, and just ordered as soon as I made one up. Yeah, it's gone down quite well. Quite pleased with that. And the sides, the decals went down beautifully. They really did. I was quite happy with those. See, I put the I don't know if I on the last one I put the spare track links on the back as well. That's done. On the front, you see, put all the rivets and bolt heads and things like that all done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put up a bit of a shadow on certain things, and what I'm going to use is Absalom stuff again, and it's the sorry, shadow brown, which is ABT015. So that's the mix I've already, well, it isn't a mix, I've just got it on a bit of cardboard. Now here can we see? I've just stuck it on a bit of cardboard with a bit of cocktail stick, and I've got a little bit of thinners in here and 2 brushes. So what we're going to do is make maybe a shadow around, let's say, obviously I was going to do it all in here, but I think that's adequate. You're not going to really see the turret ring once the turret is on. So I was thinking maybe just round a couple around the you know, the hatches where the drivers and the bow gunner sort of sit when they're getting in and out. So I'll do it on this one without the king at the moment because you don't need a lot. Let me see where we're at. You can zoom in a touch. Let's see if I can get it right. No, I didn't think I would. There we go. So as you can see, it's very, very little on there. And again, brush, this is my old blending brush. It's just an old brush I had. There we go. Where we are. I can't see camera today. There we are. There's an old brush like that. So it's dry. There's nothing on there. Apart from a bit of oil wear from last time. So what I'm going to do now is just stipple it in. You know, just to create a shadow. Doesn't have to be too much on there. You just need to get that sort of false perspective, if you know what I mean. You got the shadow of the sort of dirt when they're getting in and out as well. So more of a, I wouldn't say a shadow, but more maybe of a dirt build up and things like that when they're getting in and out of their hatches. Very subtle, I don't need a lot. Not so much on the back because they wouldn't get out the back, get out more this side, don't they? As it elevates back. I'm thinking about putting the bow gunner in as well, which we'll see. So these aren't attached yet or anything. And that's why this one isn't on. I'm just going to get a bit of little brush just to take that little piece off I'm not happy with. Let's see another one in here. I don't want to use a good brush for that. Something. Let's take a bit of thinners on my brush, take it off. I just want to blend that back. And back to the old brush. I think I've taken too much off there now. Let's put a dot on there. At least when you're using oils, you've got plenty of time to play with them, and you know, like I said, I've just taken slightly too much off there, and you can take it off, put add on, take it off, add on. You've got plenty of time to do that. Tap this one, I think. And blend that into the other part of the vehicle. Very sweet. You can just. I can't bloody see how there's a bloody camera around the other way. Stupid boy. Again, just a little bit, touch more on there, just to emphasise it. I think I've put a bit too much oil on this thing here. It gives like a grimy look as well, as you know what I mean. Compared to the other side, you can really, I don't think you can really tell much difference, but I can the naked eye. Get more of a shadow around the edges, around here. I mean, I just put a little bit on there. Plenty on the cocktail stick, I don't want to go over the top. There we are again. That's better. Now you can see the difference between that side and this side. So I'm going to do that on the other, obviously another hatch, probably a bit around the engine deck, maybe a bit more around the where the turret ring is going to be, maybe a bit more around here. Very, not massive amount again, very much like that, but all of it's going to be like that. So we'll probably go around obviously that hatch, the engine deck, and perhaps around here as well. And maybe I could, where I've got the oil paint out, I could maybe do some streaking for the I think these two were the fuel, that one was oil. I'm not 100% what that one is, I'm not 100% sure. Suspension fluid or antifreeze or whatever, I don't know. I'm not sure what this one is as well. So I know these two are fuel, I know that one's oil, so that's the one I'm going to make. I'll just do a few little streaks. You've seen people do streaks before, so there's no point in me showing you how to do that. But yeah, she's coming along. She's coming along quite nicely. Quite pleased with her. Oh, nearly all of my fingers. Good start. Yeah, so yesterday I did a bit of work on the tracks in a similar fashion. What I've done is I've just chipped them and a bit of rust and a bit of a lead pencil just to. They aren't finished yet, obviously, but there we are. Let's put my hand behind it. Maybe better, wouldn't it? You can see that. No, obviously you're going to put a lot, because where it was in Bastow it was snowy and rain and ground bit muddy, so you're not going to really see all this, but you've got to get, build layers upon layers, as Nightshade would say. Well, I've always built a lot of layers on my stuff, starting with the whatever first and gradually building up. Some parts you lose, and some part it emphasises is the fact that you've got all this done. So yeah, so I've done all the wheels as well, but not quite finished yet. These are the idle wheel. Yeah, again that's not quite finished, but it's nearly there. Same with the obviously going to lose a lot of the detail with the mud and the snow, and I've done a few of the wheels as well. These are the first sort of part of me do. Where are we at? You see, I've just got a bit of a shadow coat on there. There's a few little chips, nothing much. I'm just going to go in there with a little brush and chip a few bits more with hand chipping, I think, before they're attached, or before I put the actual bogies together, which are all painted and ready to go. They're just still on the sprues. Nothing being done with those at all yet. So yeah, We'll get them done. We'll put them on and get them all done. And obviously I'm going to scrape off the contact points where they're going to be attached with the glue, and obviously I might have to touch up a few things as we're going along, putting them together, but I prefer to do the bogies that way. Some people prefer to build them all and put them on. I prefer the other way of doing them all separately. So I think that's where we are now. So what I'm going to do is I'll carry on with the adding the bits of shadows and things like that, and when I've done that I'll come back to you. So be back in a minute. Right, we're back. We've used the oils and we've blended some in, especially for the shadows which are going to be under the turret, around the hatches. Not so bothered, I'll just mess around with this. That's going to be covered with a bit of stowage. This is maybe slightly too much, but you know, it's not too bad. Turret ring, keeping that colour anyhow, but we'll just have a little zoom in and see where we are. So that's where we are at the moment. I've added some fuel stains as well. I've just been talking to my good friend Paul, and he's assured me that one was oil, one was diesel, that was water, and I think that one's water as well, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll be using murky water on those and adding. This is just like a base to work from. This fuel stains and water stains. There'll be a definition between the two towards the end. I've drilled two. If you can see them, I'll bring the kit up. On here, you know, you got your drainage holes, but there was no drainage holes for the water, so I've just added two. If you can see them, where are we at? I just added two there, and I'm going to add. I don't need to add it in that one. It's got it actually in there. That one, if you can see it on there. So I'll just say I didn't bother with that one because I'm not sure what that one is for. So I'll just drill the other two on the other side. So the next step I'm going to try and do, so this hatch isn't on there because it's going to be weathered as well, the same, but they're going to be both open because I've decided I think I'm going to put the driver, the bow machine gunner and commando and loader. I'm just going to put the 4 in, I think. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'll get my stuff together, which I've got. Remember when I did the first and last colour, the olive drab faded 2 from the life colour set? Well, I've got that out again, and we're going to do some speckling. Not a lot, I don't want to go overboard, just a certain amount. So we've got water in the brush if there's any there that we don't like. This is to say this is what we used last time, so we're going to give this a go again. So let's get this into focus and bring this down slightly, I think. Camera. And we're going to see a bit of speckling. So I've got this brush here. It's quite a knackered old brush, quite firm. This would be ideal for speckling. And I use an old needle. I think I showed you last time when I did it on the T34. I can get it back off again. Just got an old damaged needle that I use off the the air gun. Nice bent tip. So I'll give this a good shake. I'm going to take most of it off the brush again. I don't want lots. I'm just going to try it on this piece of paper over here for now to get most of the big parts off, and I'm quite happy with what I've got. So I'll do this. I can do it from this angle. You get round here. I don't need a lot. I just want to. As you can see the difference. That's where the log is going, or wood plank to. I took it off because I didn't want to get it speckled. So you can see there's hardly anything coming off the brush, which is ideal for what I really want. I don't want any big globules. I just want it, a bit more texture again, like Mr. Night Shift says. He likes his textures. So it's very subtle. You can't really see a lot on it, but it is there. And when it dries, and I'm going to go in with, once it's all dry, I'm going to go in with my shipping dark steel mix that I've got, and highlight a few of the larger ones just to say it's gone through to the metal. So I'll carry on. I'll just take some more paint off the brush, more paint on the brush, and we can just test it again and get most of the big stuff off, and then we can just lightly flick it, lightly. I don't want it all over the place, you know, massive amounts. I just want it just adds a bit more texture again. As you can see, there's very little coming off the brush, very little, which is ideal. Let's turn this one off. And again, we'll just take it off the brush and take the big globules off, which is fine. And we can just the rear. Can we see where the rear? I can't really get to the rear without. Let's see. Bear in mind, this is going to say I've added a bit too much on that part there. Luckily, it's at the bottom, so while it's still wet, and the brush we dipped in water, and we can just blend it away. If we don't like what we see. Otherwise, if you leave it too long with being acrylic, you won't be able to remove anything. So basically that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a few bits on the side, not a lot again. And when it's finally done, I'll... oh, hang on, camera's slipped. That's why we're talking to nothing. It's better. Yeah, so I'm going to carry on my speckling again. Not a lot again, on the sides. Not so much on the bottom, because that's going to be caked in snowy mud and things like that, so you're not going to really see a lot underneath there. I'll do the wheels, but I'll do the wheels by hand, because obviously when you're speckling with that, it's going to go everywhere unless you use the might use the template that I've got. I'll give it a go and see what happens with that, just to add a little bit of difference again to the wheels. So what I'll do is I'll carry on now, and when I've got to the stage of when it's all done, I'll mix up the colour that I used, like a silver grey, and we'll start going up, just picking a couple of larger speckles, and we'll just fill them in with a bit of steel. So we'll catch you again in very shortly. Right, back again. I've got an apology, I forgot to actually film myself putting the rust markings on top of the chips, which I did as well. So as you can see, we'll zoom in and have a look at how I've done it. Have a look. You can see, and I've dull coated this as well now, so obviously the hatches aren't in there, just placed there so I know where they are. I think I quite like a bit of just subtle rust, not a lot. And again on the front. And along on the sides, we've got, I think it's just enough really. It's maybe not authentic, but I think it's a nice effect. I really do. I really like that effect on it. And on the reverse as well. On the engine deck, I've done some fuel spills as well with the what was it? Oh, I can't remember. It's oil paint or something like that. Yeah, oil. But these are going to be finished. That's just the sort of the initial markings. It's got to be like dust and the wet effects on there as well near the end. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Quite pleased with that. Machine gun's got to be finished as well. It's just in a primer state at the moment. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll show you how I do. Oh, before I do that, I've actually put all the I paint the bogies and everything on the sprue, and then put them together and just touch up what we need. What we need. These need weathering yet. They need to be chipped. I didn't do them in the airspray. I'm just going to do manual chipping on those. Not going to be a lot. And the suspension is workable to a certain degree with the metal springs in there. So you know, you've got some nice play if you want to put on a diorama, which I will be. But yeah, so they're all made up. So what I think I'll do is I'll show you how I went away with doing the. I'll just move that out the way. Put that somewhere safe. I don't want that to get damaged. So the decals went down really nice decals. Really went down beautifully. What we'll do is I'll just take the 50 cal off just for now, and I'll pop that there so I can get to it. So what I've been using, I'm going to use two rust colours. I'm going to use this AK dark sort of rusty wash effect, but it's dark, quite a dark one, which is the AK one. Where are we? AK, and I'm then finishing it off with Meng's light rust wash. So that's what I'm going to do. So, and I've got a touch of odorless thinner in there. So we'll start off with the just two nice brushes, small fine one, and we shall just give this a shake first. 90% of it I use from the lid when I'm doing this. So you just go around individual, not all the chips, you know, just sort of deeper gouges and things like that. People say they don't chip, tanks don't chip, and if they did, you know, if you weren't there, we don't know. That's just my interpretation anyhow, so I'm sticking with that. So, work from the lid, bit of minerals, taps, whatever you want to call it, little fine brush. Right, let's get myself into a shot. So basically I work from the lid, I'll just tap on there just to, we'll start off with these little ones here. And I go back in shortly, so I'm just going along, not all of them. I think I probably won't be, the hatches probably, all the hatches will probably be open, but they aren't sealed down, but I'll still put a rust mark around the edges. Even though when it's open you probably won't see it, but in for a penny, in for a pound, as I say. Also on the main hull is I used a bit of Meng's polished metal that I used. I think it's the polished metal that I used, which is this one here, Meng, the polished metal, which is 192, just to go up, highlight a few of the weld seams. It's got chips on them, you can see them on there, whatever they are. Just a, you know, faint mark where the paint's chipped right through to the weld. I've done on those, so it's getting there. I'm enjoying the build. I've enjoyed every minute of it. A bit too much in there, but we'll take that off. You got a bit of time to play with this stuff. Not as much as you have with oils, but you've got enough time to mess around with it. Right, so that'll do for now. See, I'll come back around here shortly. Just moisten the brush, moisten it. It's not massive. And then we're just gonna blend them in a bit. Bear in mind, this is only the first coat. Sorry, the first colour. So you sort of, with having that speckling again, and with the way I've done the paint work this time, most of the hard work's done for you with the chipping. You're just going back round again, aren't you, and filling in the holes and the gaps where you've that you've made, you know. So they'll look more sort of in scale, and it just don't look like a paintbrush, if you know what I mean. There's natural marks and scatters and chips. Oh, it's in shot here, so you can't quite see along the front, can we? Right, so what I'll carry on, and what I'm going to do is, when that's 3/4 dries, then I'll go over again with, not all of them, but a few of them with the light MIG wash, and then I'll come back to you and show you the effect we've got on the turret as well. So it shan't be too long. See you in a bit.